Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now the dust is starting to settle after the US election, right? We've just had the Fed come in and cut rates. They are due to cut again in December by another 0.25%. So we're seeing the market cash in like the Trump trade, right? It was a thing. There was large volatility, etc., and that it has dissipated. So to me, the markets have settled down very quickly, right? We haven't seen much of a pullback in dollar Swiss, but you know what? We are starting to see that initial correction here. Like Trump was, when the polls went, very much his way, we saw a very strong dollar push. Now, that is correcting across euro, sterling, Aussie, and Kiwi, all loving the direction. Aided, and this move has been aided by the Fed rate cut, right? Which was already factored in, right? I'm a little bit surprised it moved that much. So when we look at the markets now, right, where's action today? Like the UK, I mean the UK, the Canadian employment numbers, prelim University of Michigan sentiment numbers, they're probably the ones you're looking for. But to me, I'm looking across the markets here and I can see like just everything starting to sort of mellow, give us clear direction of what's going on, and we might start to see, where the dollar's true colors are. Is the dollar going to sort of rally right on the back of Trump? I don't think so, right? Because the euphoria of the Trump victory and all these tariffs, it's going to take time to put into place and get going. Right now, their economy isn't going great. They're cutting interest rates. And so a weak dollar, it's got to be on the cards. But let's just give it a day to settle down, right? You look at the dollar index, it's a bit mixed. Obviously, the euro, a big part of that. Sterling still drifting sideways in a big range. Aussie mid-range, Kiwi just come off its lows. Dollar CAD still hammering to the top side, as is dollar yen and dollar Swiss. Well, I still like dollar Swiss down. I like the dollar down, to be honest. The Now just looking at the markets, right, and this is where the sort of confusion is for me, right? We've got the US equity futures, right? Having a great day, good old day there. Fed cut rates, of course, equities go up. But the one thing that hasn't changed is there hasn't been any sort of like down movement on the US bond market, right? And that's a little bit, it's not unusual, but you'd expect with the Fed cutting rates, Trump in, all this sort of stuff, you might start to see the US yields drifting lower, but they aren't actually doing that. And that is messing up the normal flow of things, right? You've got Euro, Sterling, Aussie, Kiwi going down and the dollar going up, right? Sort of really following the bonds, not following the equity indices, right? So a little bit of a mismatch here in the dollar, the bonds, and the equities, right? So that's, I think that's just the remnants of the US elections. All this talk about, I mean, you got to love the polls, right? Harris is in front by 3 points, all this sort of crap. The US polls and media is quite terrible around these events, right? It was very obvious very quickly who was going to win this, and they were talking about how it's going to drag on for 4 or 5 days to sort of work out who's going to win. It's so close, right? It wasn't close. Trump's in power. So the markets for us as traders, regardless of your political persuasion, the markets have settled down very quickly. We are now back to business. The Fed have cut rates, equities are up. Now, what the hell is going on with the US bonds? That's what we want to know. When we know that, that'll give us much clearer direction with the currencies and enable us to start hitting the trends. So right now, we're in this little transition phase from election uncertainty to trending markets. So just see how it goes. As I said, today's Canadian employment numbers, well, dollar CAD keeps going topside. Weaker numbers here supports a stronger dollar CAD. It's got to be on the card. 6.6, the rate, 6.4 to 6.7, and they're expecting an extra 25,000 jobs. And the University of Michigan sentiment numbers, you got the range there, and the forecast 71, right? So that's what we've got to look for at the moment. Will these numbers impact? Maybe. I think Monday, it's a complete fresh start, and we start looking at the fundamentals. The big geopolitical issue, which was the US election, is out of the way, and we can start really looking at where the next trading opportunity is. All right, so let's just see how that goes, and we'll go from there. Just messed up my dollar Swiss chart. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.